Hello, YouTubeites, and today I'm going to talk to you about Bob's Burgers. Now, if you've never seen Bob's Burgers, what the hell? What are you doing with your life? Turn on Fox on Sundays at 8:30 p.m. and watch Bob's Burgers. Anyway, today I'm going to talk to you about Bob's Burgers. I'm binging the DVD season 4 through 8, and I've been thinking, out of 160 episodes, that's right, 160, that's a lot to narrow down, which is the best 10 episodes, which is very hard to do when every episode of Bob's Burgers is genius, it is hilarious, it's funny as hell. And yes, there's some episodes you prefer over others, but it was very hard to do, so let's get started, shall we? Number 10, The Kids Run Away, Season 4, Episode 19. This episode is about, Bob takes the kids, Louise, Tina, and Jean, to the dentist, Dr. Amp, who Tina finds very dreamy. And while they're Louise finds out she has a cavity and she runs away from home. And she's just trying to not get a cavity, or not get a filling for her cavity. And this episode is just hilarious because, Louise you see how much power, how much authority, I guess, or not authority, but something like authority over her family, because there's a scene where the family minus Louise is in the restaurant, and Bob says something about bribing Louise to come home and get the filling, and Linda says, "Are you kidding? We don't have that kind of money." So that's like, it shows how much power, I guess you could say, she has over the family, or how she's obviously a mastermind, and she's obviously the smartest in the family. Maybe a little, over Bob a little bit. She's just very conniving, she's very, I don't know, she's gonna be she's a sociopath. She's in the beginning stages of a sociopath, so, that's number 10. Number 9, Glued, Where's My Bob, Season 6, Episode 19. This episode was supposed to be the 100th episode, but unfortunately got pushed back to episode 107, with episode 100 being Stand By Jean. And this episode, Glued, Where's My Bob, this episode is hilarious. This episode is about Bob is preparing for an interview with the magazine coasters. He goes to the bathroom. Fortunately, Bob falls trapped to one of Louise's traps, meant for Jean, because he goes to the bathroom every day at a certain point. And this episode is just so funny, seeing Bob stuck on the toilet and everyone finding out. And unfortunately for Bob, people, a crowd starting to form and everything. And of course, one of the things to show his best for songs, bad stuff happens in the bathroom. This song is just so good, so funny. Just a very funny song, very funny episode. Would have been a great way to celebrate 100 episodes. That's number 9. Number 8 is Mother-Daughter Leaderraiser, Season 3, Episode 10. This episode is about Linda being concerned about her relationship with Louise, takes her to a Mummy Me class to fix their relationship. And even though this is funny, the B plot is the reason for it being here, which is Bob takes Tina to get her legs waxed for the first time. While there, Bob gets talked into by Tina to get his legs waxed too. With Jean being with them, he eventually wants to get his legs waxed too. And overall, it's just hilarious. Very funny, very funny. And of course, Louise trying not too good at his class with Linda, and she's just doesn't want to be there. And of course, this episode has one of my favorite Louise lines, which is, "Somebody's dilating." Overall, just a great episode, and a big reason of why it's on this list. Number 7 is Haunting Season 6, Episode 3. This episode is about Louise. She doesn't get scared at all. And so Bob and Linda takes the kids to a haunted house that they've created. And things go wrong. And this episode is just so hilarious because we get to see Louise in this light we've never seen her in before. We get to see her as this terrified 9-year-old girl who usually we see her as a strong, evil, not scared at all little girl. You don't see her scared really that much at all. So that was a very fun thing to watch, even though you don't know until the end that, spoiler, the family was in on the whole thing. Just overall a great episode, and the main reason why it's number 7. Number 6 is The Horse Rider, Season 6, Episode 17. This episode is a Tina-centric episode. And of course, who doesn't love Tina Belcher? I mean, come on. Now, this episode is about Tina desperately wants to go to horse camp, and eventually, she gets to go, and it's not what she thought it would be like. Linda, feeling bad for Louise and Jean, creates a restaurant camp for Louise and Jean. And this episode is just so funny because, we get to see Tina's imaginary horse, Jericho, and we get to see what it's like for everyone else when she's talking to this imaginary horse. We get to see what it's like for her when she's talking to Jericho. It's just so funny. I think his name's, I forget his name, but he plays Jericho. He's just so funny as Jericho, and just Tina talking to Jericho is just so funny, and the ending is probably the reason why it's in my top 10. It's because at horse camp, the attendants get to do a riding exhibition for their families, and Tina, during her time at horse camp, gets Flop, which does not like her at all. She chooses, instead of riding Flop, to ride Jericho, and Jericho being an imaginary horse, it's very weird for everyone to watch, but as her exhibition gets going, everyone's like, oh, the kids are like, oh, look at her. And even the family's like, oh, she looks so happy out there and stuff like that, which is very funny. Just, Tina-centric episodes, you gotta love them. Yeah, The Horse Rider, that's number 6. Number 5, Sexy Dance Fighting, Season 1, Episode 4. This episode is about Tina seeing a sexy instructor named Gyro for capoeira. She signs up for capoeira to really check him out, and I get to do capoeira. And Bob always has Tina, because, you can't let Jean or Louise around the stove, because, fire comes out of it. He has her watch the stove at 4:30 for his daily meeting, and he goes down to capoeira near 4:30, get Tina so she can watch stove so he can make poops. And while he's there, he eventually kind of gets into a fight with Gyro, and because it's near or around 4:30, then Bob shits himself. And it's a very funny, him like, oh crap, I shit myself. And it's just him shitting himself and then being totally embarrassed, which how could you not be embarrassed by that? A really funny episode. Near the end, Gyro hearing Bob, being like, capoeira, stupid, stuff like that. He's very upset with Bob, and at the end of the episode, Bob attends Miss Capoeira because of this funny interaction with Teddy, where Teddy thinks that what's going on is that Tina's becoming a woman because it says she's exchanging strands. So of course Bob freaking out is one of the most funniest thing about Bob and H. Sean Benjamin. He does it perfectly and stuff like that. So it's just very funny, and Bob's just freaking out and be like, get out of my restaurant, get out of my restaurant. It's funny as hell. At the end of the episode, Bob tries to get Tina a yellow cord because Gyro's being an idiot because Bob's there. Bob tries to get her one, and Gyro His ponytail whips Bob's. Me and my family were talking about this when we watched it a few days ago. It's like, all we have to do is just cut his ponytail and he has no source of weapons, It's sweet because Bob, gets into a fight with Gyro around 4:30 for Tina, and that just, I like this family because, they'll go to the mat for each other and they'll fight for each other, and they obviously love each other. Like, you can see how much they love each other. Like, even the last episode with the horse rider and Louise tried to sell their stuff so that way Tina can go to horse camp. It's just, they love each other, and that you don't see that a lot in adult cartoons that are about families. That's my number 5. Number 4 is Turkey in a Can, Season 4, Episode 5. This is the Thanksgiving episode of the 4th season. This episode is it's around Thanksgiving, obviously, and every morning Bob finds the turkey for Thanksgiving in the toilet, and he's freaking out, and he's trying to figure out who is the one that's putting the turkey in the toilet. Everyone thinks it's Louise, because, it has to be Louise. Louise is trying to prove her innocence to everyone. And it's just funny, Bob freaking out, and him constantly every day. I had to go buy a new turkey. Funny seeing him constantly trying to figure out who it is, because Thanksgiving, him being a cook, that's his favorite holiday. It has to go perfect for him, and turkey being in the toilet every day, obviously it's not going perfect for him. And yeah, it's a very funny episode, and it's funny seeing who is the one doing it. And spoiler alert, it's Bob, and it's Bob sleepwalking because of these pills he's taking. I think it's for a headache or something, but it's him sleepwalking and taking the turkey to the toilet because he thinks it's Tina when he was potty training her, because Linda said she didn't potty train any of the kids because she couldn't do it. And it's funny seeing Bob being the one doing this when he's so, oh my god, he's doing this. So yeah, it's very funny episode, and definitely, if you've never seen Bob's Burgers, that should be one of the ones on your list to definitely check out to introduce you to this fantastic show. And a huge reason why it's number 4 on this list. Number 3, Burger Boss, Season 2, Episode 3. This is one of the most funniest episodes in all 9 seasons, all 160 episodes. This episode is about Bob gets this old-fashioned video game called Burger Boss, and Jimmy Pesto comes over, and Bob's like, why didn't you try to beat my high score? And unfortunately for Bob, he does, and for the name, he writes Bob Sucks. And Bob, seeing this, he's like, oh, I gotta get this name off there. So he's constantly trying to beat Jimmy's high score, and it eventually, Bob, he can't do it, and he gets obsessed with it. Like I said a few episodes ago, Bob freaking out is one of the greatest things about Bob Belcher. And H. John Benjamin does it fantastically. I mean, he's just so funny as Bob freaking out, and because Bob's a calm guy most of the time. He's calm, he's just very chill, and when you see him freak out, it's just hilarious. And the sound of his voice and everything. One of the funniest things about this episode is this is the episode where Daryl is introduced. Daryl trains Bob on how to beat Burger Boss. He's like, I'll do this for you, but you have to beat up my bully, Tyler. And Bob, when Tyler shows up near the end of the episode, he's on pain medication, and he sees Tyler and Tyler's friends as the enemies on Burger Boss, and he chases them throughout the street, and it's just so freaking funny. This episode has one of the best Tina lines ever, which is Bob is taking the kids to Family Fun Time, which is where the game ends up, because he can't get in without his kids, and he takes the kids and tells Linda it's a surprise. So he takes them, and Tina's like, if I see any mermaids, I'm gonna ask them where their merginas are, because she and Jean thinks, because Linda wants to go sailing, and they think they're going for sailing lessons, stuff like that. So season 2, episode 3, Burger Boss is just so freaking funny, one of the funniest ones, and that's why it's number 3 on this list. Number 2, Crossspecies, season 1, episode 2. This episode is just so funny. It's about Bob hiding in a crawl space, pretending that he's stuck, so that way he wouldn't have to spend time with Linda's parents. It's very funny, and throughout the episode, Bob eventually does get stuck, and Linda finds out that he was lying, so she lets him stay in there, and you eventually see Bob just go absolutely nuts, which is absolutely insane. And throughout the episode, you see little nods to The Shining, which was very well done, very well done. It was just so funny seeing Bob go nuts, because, you know, Nutty Bob is probably the best Bob. I mean, who are you kidding? Bob, all goofed up, is just so funny. This episode, you know, it being the second episode overall, you really get to see, they expand on who each family member is, like their personality. Like there's Tina, who you learn about for the first time, you learn about her obsession with zombies and her horniness. You know, she has dreams about zombies, and then her making out with the zombies because her over sex drive is clashing with her fear of zombies from a zombie movie she watched when she was like 8. Yeah, it's just, you get to see that part of her. And at school, there's a scene where she is spying on the boys in the locker room, and this is also one of the best teen lines in my opinion, where she like, drop the towel. It's just funny seeing her like that. Gene, you just get to see him a little bit with his music obsession, a little bit with his keyboard. And Louise, you get to see her conniving, head messing games, and how she is really like, she is smarter than like probably everyone. And she's only 9 years old, and then it's just funny seeing, you know, just the kids being in trouble, and Louise really being the leader of like telling Mr. Frong what to say and do. Yeah, it's just a very funny episode. And this is also the first episode with Teddy in it, because Teddy was not in episode 1. And I was thinking about it, if you watched the first season and didn't know anything about the show, you'd think that Mort was the main guy, but no, it's Teddy, because Mort was, I think, in more episodes throughout the first season than Teddy. And yeah. And at the end of this episode, where Linda's mom goes to get Bob out, she chases them through. You can hear them screaming throughout the restaurant in the crawl space, and it's just very funny, very, very funny episode. And of course, when they come out of the wall, it's like Shining, and Gloria, Linda's mom's like, here's Bobby. So it's just a very funny episode, and definitely one you should check out if you're checking out for the first time. And a humongous reason why it's number 2 on this list. Before revealing the number 1 spot, here's a few honorable mentionable episodes. And number 1, Art Crawl Season 1, Episode 8. This episode is about, it's Art Crawl, the annual Art Crawl, and Gail, Linda's sister, is visiting, and she brought her paintings to hang in the restaurant, and it's very like, oh my god, why would you paint this? It's animal anuses. And this episode is a perfect example of why I really worry about Gail. Like, Gail should probably not live alone. It's just very funny seeing Bob freak out over Gail's paintings, because, you know, no one's gonna want to eat burgers in a restaurant that has animal anus paintings on the wall. So yeah, it's just him freaking out, and then he finds out that the crabby old couple that owns the art supply store, Harold and Edith, forbid him, or mostly Edith, because, you know, Edith proposed to Harold. She wears the pants in that family. Anyway, or that relationship. and she forbids Bob from doing it, and that ticks Bob off. He's like, you know what, we're gonna hang him up. And it's just funny seeing him freak out. And the B plot of this story is about, since it's art crawl, Louise sees people buying these crappy paintings, and she's like, I'll make a quick buck. So she creates this kind of painting sweatshop, first with Jean and Tina, and then with Ollie and Andy Pesto, and then their friend Michael, I guess I looked it up. And you get to see how crazy she is. Like, she's adorable, but she's absolutely insane. Anyway, Bob finds out that underwear was painted on the anuses, so he goes to confront Edith, but it wasn't her because it was Linda who was who was having nightmares about the anuses. Overall, great episode, and that's the main reason why it's number one on this list. And that's my list for the top 10 funniest Bob's Burgers episodes. Like I said, if you haven't watched it, turn on Fox January 6th at 8:30 to catch an all-new episode. This show is just by far one of my favorites. It's so funny, so hilarious. I love this cartoon family. I want to be friends with this cartoon family, and I'm quite sad that they don't really exist because I'd so hang out with this family. And yeah, it's just a very funny episode, very funny show. And yeah, just if you haven't already, just definitely check out Bob's Burgers. It's a very funny, very unique show.